I'm Biren Bandara, and I'm a realtor here in Victoria. I just want to introduce a little bit the Park Bench website. So parkbench.com/Victoria-West is my website, and what it is, it's a community website where I interview business owners, community leaders, and other members of the of your neighborhood, and so that we get to know each other and we get to know what events are going on and which local businesses and to support. So I thought, why not kick this off with my own personal interview, because why not lead from the front and get this going. So yeah, my name is Biren. I was born in Vancouver and grew up in Abbotsford, BC. If you know where Abbotsford is, it's about 45 minutes east of Vancouver. When I was there, it used to be a smaller farm town with a couple malls. Now it's a bigger town with 3 malls. So it's got that going for it. Anyways, at the ripe old age of 17, I left home, joined the military, attended the Royal Military College of Canada, where my bachelor's of science degree, and got a commission as an Army engineer officer. Once I got commissioned, did some training in New Brunswick, then got posted to 1 Combat Engineer Regiment in Edmonton. Was there for about 7 years, and moved to Kingston for a job out there for a few years, and made my way back to BC and here to Victoria. I love it in Victoria. It's one of the best places, if not, it is the best place in Canada to live. We got peacocks and lizards, so there's that. And I don't think there's anywhere else. I don't see any peacocks or lizards when I was living in Edmonton, and sure as shit there wasn't any in New Brunswick. So what a wonderful place to be, and I'm super happy that I get to help clients and help the community through real estate transactions here in Victoria. So how did I start in real estate? Honestly, real estate was not something that was on my radar at all for the longest time, even though my father is as a realtor and has been for about 20 years, and held a license since I was a child. It's just something that never crossed my mind at all. But going back to my first deployment, which was Afghanistan, I came home in 2012, and I thought, that was probably the coolest thing I was going to do in the Army. What else is there? So while I was still in the Army, I was looking for opportunities, and I stumbled across a financial firm that picked me up, and I learned how to sell mutual funds and seg funds and life insurance, and I was able to really help a lot of middle-income families across Canada. Well, at the time in Edmonton, but I brought my licenses and built a little brokerage that spanned BC, Alberta, and Ontario. And I got to help families, achieve their financial goals, save money, invest money, and get them out of some pretty rough financial situations. So that was really rewarding. But after 5 years, I realized insurance and investments, like as much as I loved helping families and quarterbacking those things, the actual instruments I was doing it with wasn't really exciting for me. And just diving into that stuff wasn't tickling my fancy, if you want to call it that. So after that, I started another kind of side business called Leader School, where I trained people on leadership. My focus was training newly promoted supervisors and that kind of thing on how to lead small teams, and I used a lot of my military training and military leadership training to create that program. And I had a great experience with that. Got to be a keynote speaker at a college in Kingston. Got to train student bodies. Got to train members of the nonprofit organizations, and it was really great. But again, it was fun, and I still think that's very important. But it wasn't something that I saw myself doing, for the long term. And then I got to help my father-in-law and wife build a business called Unwind, where we made tea out of wine. So when the wine gets pressed, all the stuff that remains, the pumice, we would dry that out and create teas out of it. It was actually super good, and it's still happening at Bergeron Estate Wineries in Kingston, Ontario. He's still selling it. Dave's doing great out there, and he's still keeping the Unwind part of his winery running. And but I wasn't a tea drinker, so again, it wasn't something for me. But during this time, I started in real estate investing. Actually, when I was in Edmonton, I made a terrible real estate mistake, which will stay in my mind forever. I bought a condo after my tour in Afghanistan, and my dad was like, "Hey, why don't you buy something in Vancouver for about the same price?" Right? This is 2012, and I was like, "No, I want to live downtown and party and do all that stuff." So I bought a condo. Fast forward about 7 years, and I ended up selling it for a $40,000 loss. So I really understood, buying with an investment mind versus buying with an emotional mind only. And there is a blend in there that's going to really make anyone happy. But I was doing full emotional mind of just party, and it really bit me. And that was a crazy deal to get that done too. And but anyways, so that was when I started real estate, getting involved in real estate. And it still wasn't thinking at the time, how to create wealth with it, and the investment mindset of it. But after I got involved with the financial firm, learned that a lot more, calmed down a little bit more from partying and trying to look for the next adventure story to what future is going to look like. And I started buying properties in Kingston, Ontario when I moved there, renting them out with basement suites and duplexes and that kind of thing. And then kind of around the time of my second purchase in Ontario, a friend of mine who was doing real estate for a couple of years, doing really well at it, she said, "Hey, Biren, I think you'd be really good. Like, you have the personality for it, you have the mind for it. You understand real estate. You're already investing in it. You're already kind of absorbed into the real estate stratosphere. Like, why don't you look at becoming an agent?" And at the time, I was like, I don't know, like, not really huge at being an agent. Like my image of what a real estate agent was, away from my father, who was very much on the investment side and the commercial side. A lot of business advising as well on his piece. But my thought outside of that was that scene in The Big Short where they're trying to figure out if there's a bubble or not, and the investor and the agent's just saying, "Oh yeah, it's just a gully," and doesn't really know what's going on. I just thought that was kind of what an agent was. But once I started getting into the books and started learning about it, I was like, oh wow, I actually learn a lot, and a lot of investment stuff, a lot of granular things about the market. So I was pretty impressed with actually what I learned. And got my license and right away started helping clients. But obviously when I started, it was 2020, and the world shut down in April-May of 2020. April-March of 2020. And that was my first year in real estate. But despite that, I did really well. Luckily, I had a lot of good investor clients. Was helping them expand their portfolios in the Kingston area, and did well. Really enjoyed it. Learned a lot from my clients as well. It was a great journey. So there was an opportunity to move to British Columbia. So we did that and wound up in Victoria, which thankfully we did, because what a wonderful place to be. That's kind of my journey into how I got into real estate and why I'm here. So what I think separates me from the rest of the realtors out there is that my military background. I've been in the military for over 20 years. It allows me to understand risk, and it allows me to keep my mission focused. So my clients, are the ones giving me orders and giving me the mission. And the military, if there's an obstacle, it's either over, under, or through it. And that's how I see the accomplishment of the missions on behalf of my clients. The other part is, I'm an investment mindset. I am a real estate investor. I understand that game. I understand personal finance. I understand how real estate fits into that. I did 5 years again as a financial advisor and as well an avid real estate investor. So I understand how that all flexes together to create a full and robust portfolio. And finally, I do have my MBA. I completed that this last year, and that gives me a better and a heightened sense of both, the business in terms of, options analysis, risk in business, financial risk, as well as macroeconomics. So, we're in a very tumultuous time right now, so I find that comes in handy quite a bit. And and lastly, I am an advisor at heart. In my whole time in my career in the military, I've been advising senior commanders on best practices, risks that they may not be seeing, and advise them on the best course of action to meet their aims. And that's something I could definitely bring to my clients. So thank you very much. I hope to get to work with you. I hope to get to be your advisor, your real estate advisor for life. If not, I hope to to get to know you and provide value any way I can. Thank you.